Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News. I am your presenter, Marisa Stedman. Here's a look at the headlines for today. Dominica to observe Earth Day. NTRC survey suggests dissatisfaction with Telecom service. And Cuba marks end of an era as Castro hands over to Diaz-Canel. Stay tuned for these and other stories when CBN4's Primetime News returns.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
TB estene et ben toussé, moun ki en bonne santé oli ouin ka respire se vermine la. Moun ki pani bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, café, ti mamay et grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun ki ka toussé ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvert bouche ou le ka estene toussé. Visitez docteur et ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout de maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
Welcome back. Dominica will join the rest of the world in observance of Earth Day on Sunday, April 22, 2018. Earth Day is intended to inspire awareness and appreciation for the Earth's environment. This year, the day will be celebrated under the theme End Plastic Pollution. From poisoning and injuring marine life to disrupting human hormones, from littering our beaches and landscapes to clogging our waste streams and landfills, the exponential growth of plastics is now threatening the survival of our planet. In observance of Earth Day 2018, Discover Dominica Authority encourages everyone to develop a personal plastic reduction plan by reducing, refusing, reusing, recycling, and removing plastic in our environment. A new Minister for Agriculture, the Honorable Reginald Austri, has hit the ground running in his new ministerial post, announcing his ministry's plan for the farmers. The Minister for Agriculture and Fisheries noted that for Dominica's agriculture to continue thriving, a few fundamental changes must be made.
I want to say to you, as the new Minister for Agriculture, having spent a few days in the ministry and still trying to find my way around it, one thing is clear, that if we are to succeed in agriculture, there has to be some administrative and structural changes to the ministry, both at the ministry level and at the farm level. We have to make the ministry work for the farmers. The farmers are too important a sector in the society for them to be so low down in the chain of agriculture in this country.
The Minister for Agriculture went on to say that the farmers will have to be at the forefront of championing the food security situation here in Dominica. Austri also made the announcement of a Meet the Farmers tour in order for the farmers to have a direct relationship with the minister.
I want to say to the farmers out there that very shortly we'll be embarking on a Meet the Farmers tour. And that tour will primarily constitute of taking your telephone numbers and giving you my telephone number, that you can have a direct relationship and direct contact with the minister, that we may find ourselves in a position to deliver on time and in time to the farmers of this country.
During the recent reshuffling of ministerial portfolios by the Prime Minister of Dominica, one new key portfolio was highlighted in the new cabinet allocations. The Prime Minister announced the introduction of a Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs, and that ministry has been given to Honorable Catherine Lady Daniel. CBN4 sought the public's view on this new ministerial portfolio, which was announced by the Prime Minister in his April 10th address.
The ministry, I think, if it have a ministry, they will be able to look for their members and take care of their members that reach a stage where they cannot. Because you're not supposed to be going to church, praising your God, and when you reach in a stage that you cannot go, you are forgotten, you left alone. And you feel alone, you are forgotten.
Look at society today and you see the way children behave, like they don't have the proper foundation and whatever. So with a minister, people will get more serious in that respect, and then we will see a change.
Church was here 50 years ago, 100 years ago before the Prime Minister. I mean, you guys are full religious place. I born as a religious person. So what he's telling us, there is nothing new. There is more important thing. There is the life of people that is dying, that more needed to be attended. Small business people that get affected and then get no money. What does that religion have to do with our life now? And we already know it. You know, he don't have to dumb and put that in our spirit.
Well, I think there are so many issues all over the place. And if you and everyone is important, and you may end up having a ministry for everything, different ministries for everything, that cannot be done. We also have to think of the fact that we're already talking about a large cabinet. And at the same time, we have been criticized for asking for increases, even for the port workers, and increases which were due before the hurricane. And to create other other ministries at a time when we are seeing that public employees should not get an increase, I don't think that is sending a good message. So I'm not going to look at what I heard somebody else said about the moral, about this and about that. I'm not even going to look at that. I'm just going to say the timing of that expansion of the cabinet. I don't think it is a right time.
And these were the views of some in the public on the new ministry. We'll be back with more news right after the break.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
L'année sim tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nid pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité ou. Aidez du bout si maladie TB et HIV. Pour agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
Welcome back. In more news, the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, in partnership with other key industry stakeholders, will host Hike Fest 2018 in the month of May. The hikes will take place every Saturday of the month and will feature historically popular trails, including segments of the Waikiki National Trail. Since the passage of Hurricane Maria in September 2017, the landscape has undergone serious and significant changes. Considering Hike Fest presents an ideal opportunity for locals, ecotourists, and the like to rediscover the island in its new form. The industry needs this product now more than ever before, DHTA Executive Vice President Kevin Francis noted. Adults are required to submit a registration fee of EC $50 per hike, while children are EC $25 per hike. The package includes a t-shirt, transportation, and refreshments. The schedule is as follows: May 5th, 2018, Segment 5, Port Casse, Waikiki National Trade; May 12th, 2018, Bury Lake; May 19th, 2018, Segment 13, that is Penville to Capuchin of the Waikiki National Trail; May 26, 2018, Syndicate Loop or Nature Trail. All groups and individuals are asked to gather at the Preview Cinema Hall at 5:30 a.m. for briefings and departure. Prime Minister of Dominican Minister for Finance, Investments, Housing and Lands, Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, says that while others in the general public sees and views the newest member of his cabinet as a Judas, his government sees him as the prodigal son. Honorable Joseph Isaac, who resigned from the United Workers' Party, was recently sworn in as the newest cabinet minister, taking the tally of ministers to 19. Joseph Isaac received quite a backlash upon announcing his decision to serve alongside the Dominican Labour Party administration.
When those will call you Judas and son, we call you the prodigal son. When those will call you Judas, we call you David. We see you as a uniter, as someone who will stand in defense of his people, in defense of his country, and putting country first, and putting people first.
The Prime Minister noted that the cabinet ministers acts and treats each other as family and welcomed the MP for Roseau Central with open arms.
That I believe in friendship and camaraderie. And my colleagues who have been working in the can tell you so. I give them a hard time, and you'll get a hard time in time to come in terms of getting work done and moving things quicker. But this cabinet is a family. It's a family. This is a family. There are arguments among us ourselves like a family. But we care about the welfare and well-being of each other. And this is what you have been receiving in the last couple of days. You have been interacting with them. They've almost welcomed you in the way that the father welcomed the prodigal son. The only thing is that we had no fattened calf to slaughter. But in terms of the embrace,
Also in the news, Craig Nesty, Executive Director of the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, explained that the role of the NTRC is to safeguard the interests of free stakeholders, the consumers, providers, and the government. According to Nesty, an informal survey was conducted by the NTRC to identify customer complaints and queries, and generally, the report is that consumers are not satisfied with their service.
Consumers, their perception of the service at this time is not very good. They're not satisfied, they're not comfortable with the rates they're paying, with the quality of service, which is expectable, which is understandable and is clearly expected after a major Category 5 hurricane.
The executive director admits that he was not surprised by the findings of the survey. He added that while the consumers are suffering, so are the suppliers, since most of their network were destroyed by the hurricane. However, Nesty laments that the problem exists when there is no form of redress for the consumer.
There isn't any compensation to the consumer for the poor quality of service, for the high rates that they pay for that poor quality of service. We at the NTRC feel that if your service has deteriorated to such a state, then the amount of money you should be paying for that service cannot be the same rate that you would pay if the service was of an excellent quality.
Nesty explained that some of the issues faced by the consumer, such as the inability to call someone on another network or being able to download from the internet, are definitely degradations in service. Nesty further stated that the NTRC expects the service providers to alleviate some of the plight of the people. And we'll be back with more news after the break.
Les moun ki ni TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vermin la. Moun ki pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouche ou le ka estene e tousse. Visitez docteur e ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
L'année signe tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nick pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV pe ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité ou. Aidez du bout si men maladie TB et HIV. Ou agir tout moun pour examiner corps yo.
Cuba marked the end of an era Thursday as Miguel Diaz-Canel was formally elected as the country's new president, becoming the first leader of the Caribbean island in 6 decades who is not named Castro. In his first speech as president, Diaz-Canel vowed to keep the country on the path of that revolution, but also on the road to economic reform. Diaz-Canel was elected in a landmark vote of the National Assembly, which took place on Wednesday. He was the sole candidate for the presidency, with the result formally announced on Thursday. He is the island's first leader born after the revolution and has turned 58 today, Friday. In more news, UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson has today announced an expansion of the UK's overseas network with the opening of 9 new diplomatic posts across the Commonwealth. 3 of these 9 posts will be in the Eastern Caribbean, with new British resident commissioners' offices in Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These posts, along with the existing resident commissioner's office in St. Lucia, will form an expanded network of UK representation in the Eastern Caribbean under the auspices of the British High Commission in Barbados. In addition, there will be new UK posts in the Bahamas, Lesotho, Swaziland, Samoa, Tonga, and Vanuatu. Announcing the opening of the new post, Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson said, "As a Commonwealth family of nations, it is in our shared interest to boost prosperity, tackle security issues, and clear up the environment." British High Commissioner to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Mrs. Janet Douglas, said that the expansion was part of a wider initiative to increase the breadth and depth of UK diplomatic presence across the world. And Grammy-nominated Swedish DJ Avicii died earlier today in Oman at the age of 28, his publicist confirmed. Avicii was one of the most successful touring DJs in the industry, working with artists including Madonna and Coldplay. He had a crossover pop hit in 2013 with Wake Me Up. But he also saw the downside of fame in the electronic dance music genre known as EDM. He retired from performing in 2016 after a string of health issues, including acute pancreatitis. Fellow musicians took to social media on Friday to mourn his death. School children across the United States walked out of school today to demonstrate against gun violence. The National School Walkout marks the 19th anniversary of the Columbine High School massacre in Colorado. Connecticut High School pupil Lane Murdoch set up the event in the wake of the Parkland shooting in Florida. School children in every state were expected to participate in the national walkout. The goal of the demonstration, which involves more than 2,000 schools, is to raise awareness of gun violence and to combat political inaction. However, only 1 hour before the walkout was due to begin, authorities say a pupil in Ocala, Florida, shot another student in the ankle at the Forest High School. Police and Marion County Schools officials say only 1 person was injured and a suspect is in custody. Students at the school, which had planned to hold a walkout, were taken to a nearby school to meet their parents. That takes us to the end of the Primetime News package. Again, I'm Marissa Stedman, asking you to stay logged in to CBN4 on www.cbn4.com, or you can like us on Facebook. Good evening.